Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody. This is Michael Helene, and today we are going to do a rose with oil paint. I hope you guys enjoy this. I had so much fun doing it, although I did try a new recording setup, and so I'm going to have to work on it a little bit. So, I apologize if it's not perfect, but I kind of like it. I kind of like how it's set up. I just need to figure out the lighting a little bit better with like shiny oil paints, right? It's weird. It's like the less lighting, the better. Anyhow, so what I'm starting out with is just a little bit of burnt umber and a lot of, what's it called? Odorless mineral spirits. I accidentally used too much, so it started dripping. Although I kind of liked it and it gave me an idea for later. So, hey, what did they call them? Happy accidents, right? So I'm just starting the outline just to get an idea of where I want everything to sit. Generally, I don't use so much odorless spirits, but I actually didn't realize this brush would hold that much liquid. So yeah, I cleaned that off a little bit and got started. I'm just sort of sketching out where I want the stem and the leaves and the beautiful rose. I definitely wanted this to be very loose and soft and not a perfect, everything in the right place kind of artwork. I was inspired because I have to give him a shout out by Jose Trujillo, because I saw him do a rose like this a while back and I've been wanting to do it so badly. So it's similar, it's not exactly the same, but I have to shout out to him because I do own some of his artwork and I love watching him, and I've painted a few things alongside him because I love his loose style. I just think it's fantastic. And he always says he's the best living artist. Wait, the world's best living artist? Yeah? Well, honey, you got some competition. So there. I'm kidding. I can be the world's best beginner 40-year-old mama artist. That's too much. Well, I just started painting like 2 years ago and drawing 2 years ago. And I'm trying to make it a thing because I have to support my family and I don't really want to go back and work full time outside of the home, which I did for many, 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 many years, and I will probably have to do it again, but I'm trying to make art a thing. So any help or support I can get would be amazing. I have 2 little girls to raise, and I went through some pretty crazy crap. I.e. not I.e., what does I.e. even mean? I don't know. In example, I don't know. So I see that. I'm not entirely, I have to look it up and see what it means. Does anybody know what it means? So anyhow, taking the rose here, let me get totally off track here, and just sort of sketching out where I want the petals to be. I am placing some color here, but I'm really just kind of, in my mind's eye, thinking of where I want this rose to sit and how I want it to kind of lay out as it's, opening up, where I want the petals to fall, so on and so forth. And again, too much liquid in this darn brush. It's crazy. But I'm going to do the background, so it's not really going to matter. And it did sort of leave me a really nice thin layer to do everything on top of, which created a really good surface. So I don't use this brush very often, so I wasn't really used to it. And by the way, there is a fly in my video, if you guys see it. Can I just tell you that I think one of my doors left open, and we live in the country, and the fly came in. Actually, a few flies came in, and I was literally killing them off with hand sanitizer because I didn't have bug spray, or I didn't have it around me. Let me just clarify that I was lazy and didn't want to go look for bug spray. So here I am adding, I've got some, like a garnet color, red, what am I using? I'm using, I think I have like, a primary red. I've got magenta, I've got white, I've got on my palette, every red I had, cadmium hue red, I had some orange on there, and I had some burnt sienna, and what else did I have on there? I had Mars Black. So I had a bunch of, I try to stick within the color palette. I obviously have my greens for the leaves. Yellow ochre I was using to create some of these reds. And but mainly it's cadmium red mixed with, all those other colors I mentioned, just to create different depths and different strengths. I did have Algerian Crimson, which Algerian Crimson something. I do like it. It just tends to be a little bit translucent for me in some cases, but I like to mix it with the hue, the oh my God, what did I just say? See, it's too early in the morning for me to be speaking. I'm outside, which I hope this records okay because, oh my God, it's so beautiful outside. I said, I just can't be in my office today. I have to do the voiceover outside. So if you hear birds chirping, that's why. I can't, sometimes I'll talk as I'm doing these videos, but I find it easier for me if I get interrupted, or I work in an office where my dad is in there sometimes, and he'll come in and cough or make a noise, or he might be on the phone, or have a little toot or whatever. So I don't record while I'm painting. I could, I just don't. So anyhow, you can see how I'm sort of pulling this together, and I do spend some time arranging the flowers, petals in many ways, and I just keep going until I kind of like what it looks like, adding multiple colors, different levels of red, dark to light, and I'll add some highlights in a little bit later after I finish doing the leaves and everything like that. But you can see by just adding strokes kind of in a almost like fat to thin sort of I don't know, it's like a fat to thin sort of sweeping motion with your brush. So laying that that square brush, I have a flat brush, laying it sort of on the side and then sweeping it over with my hand on top. It gives me a lot of control, and I can create that almost like you're looking right at the leaf and you're just seeing that top portion. It works really, really well, and you can see it when it's completely finished and you have the highlights on it. You can really, really see that. And then of course getting that shape where the leaves are bent over on the bottom, and then of course the middle part where you can barely see the leaves at all, or the petals at all. So I'll let you watch this for a minute, and when we get to the leaves, I'll keep on chatting. Okay, so just to catch you guys up, as you can see, I have gone through many variations of this rose at this point, and I almost cut this because I was like, you know what, I'm going over and over and over it, and it looked good like 10 minutes ago, but as an artist, you know how we are, and we tend to overwork things and overthink things, which I kind of started to do, but then I stepped back, and I looked at it and I was like, no, I'm kind of loving the way it looks. It looks really good. And actually, in person, it's quite beautiful. And the more that I was kind of playing with the colors, I liked how the colors worked together. I liked that all the petals had many different colors and that the depth was there, and that there was nice shadow. And of course, the petals changed in like, you know, where they were at on the rose many times, just because I kept seeing new things, or I would step back and be like, okay, I like how this looks, but I don't like how this looks. And of course, that's always what we do as artists. So I wanted to go ahead and keep that in for you guys, because I know you do the same thing. I know you do. I've watched enough videos to know. And I watch, you know, different people. And you know what I did? I'll have to tell you a little story. So when Jazza sold his artwork, I went and I bought one of his pieces. Not because I was like absolutely in love with the piece, although I am, and I love him and I think he's brilliant. But I bought one of the artworks because I thought, I own artwork, like I bought artwork, but I see his work on the screen and I'm like, oh my God, it looks so perfect. I want to see what it looks like in real life. I want to look at, you know, something that I've seen on TV and how it looks in real life. So I bought it. And I'll tell you, it's amazing. I mean, he's an incredible artist. I got the big, I'll have to show you guys, but I got like the big picture, the big artwork where he did it with like the big pencil, if you guys watch him. And I got the pencil too, which is like even cooler. But it's not perfect, you know, there are like little erase marks, and it's not, you know, it's a finished piece of art, but it is done with graphite. And so there's things on there that, like, if you're looking for it, you can find it, but it's not like, I wouldn't look at it and be like, oh, I'd fix this, I'd fix that, but you can definitely see things, right? So it made me stop questioning my art as much. So my advice to you is, if you can, you know, purchase some art and look at it and see if you can find those like little things that you as an artist might go, oh, I would have done this differently or that differently, but appreciate what they're doing, and how their process worked, and how what their end result came to. I just think it's kind of cool. So now we're doing the leaves. I start with a dark green, which I think it's emerald green with a little bit of Mars black. And I just wanted a really, really dark green so that I could layer the colors on top of it. And I'm going to be real honest with you. My daughter records herself doing videos nonstop. I had plenty of, so I use an HDMR. I'm telling you, my brain is not functioning this morning. I use a good camera, right? A Canon, a really good camera for most of my videos. But I did this video using my phone because I was curious about this setup. My daughter loves to use my storage, and although I have like OneDrive and all these other things, I did not even think that the camera would stop recording because I had plenty of space. But because she records constantly, I did not have plenty of space, and it did stop recording during the leaf making process. So I want to go over that with you. I basically laid out where I wanted the leaves with the dark color. Of course, I did the outline first, but you know, you tweak that a little bit, right? And then, so I used the dark, and then in a minute, it kind of goes from, sorry, I'm doing Noom. I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight, and they're like texting me, where are you this morning? What are you doing? Well, I haven't gotten there yet. I'll get there in a minute. So anyhow, I'm doing the stem and the leaves with this dark green, and then I'm going to layer all the colors on top of it. It's very loose. I'm not necessarily trying to make it look like a perfect leaf. But one of the things I've discovered as an artist is that perfection usually ends up looking more like a cartoon. If you look at a leaf, I'm sitting here looking at some tomato leaves right now, like tomato plant leaves. They're all kinds of different colors. There's light reflection, there's shadow, there's different colors. I mean, on one leaf, there's thousands of colors. So in my experience, my short-lived experience in the art world, it's come to my attention that the less you try to make it look like a leaf, the better and more it looks like a leaf. You get these automatic folds, and if you learn like how the light works and the way that leaves and petals or whatever you're painting reflects, I mean, just your skin, right? If you try to paint your skin with a Copic marker, it's all like highlight, midtone, and shadow, and there's nothing else, it's going to look like a cartoon. So the more pigments and the more colors that you kind of drive over it and put on top of it, or put in random areas, the more realistic it's going to look. Not that I was necessarily going for like hyper realism, it's just that I think it looks more natural. So I was really, really happy with these leaves. I'm super sad that it didn't record everything, but as you can see here, I'm starting to add some leaf green, a little bit of sap green, some burnt umber, some yellow ochre on top of these leaves, and just kind of designing where, in pretty thick paint, mind you, okay? Because I wanted it to sort of blend on the edges, be thick in some places, thin in some places. I just like how it looks. I added highlight and shadow where I wanted the highlight and shadow to be, but I didn't necessarily worry about oh, well, the light's coming from here, so this has to be this, and, the dark is coming from here, and there's this shadow, and da-da-da. I just placed colors. It did cut out a little bit at the end, but you can see how I'm doing it. I just kept doing it until I liked the result. So you didn't really miss out on much. I just added more colors, which you will see in the end. The other thing is directionality. Like, where are the stems coming from? Where are the leaves coming out from? You need to make sure that the highlight is on top of that stem if it's coming from the front. The stem is on top of the highlight if the leaves are coming from behind. That's something, I mean, maybe that's a basic thing, but that's something I learned with practicing cartoon work, actually, is like, if the line is in front, that area that is in front of that line is obviously going to be and look like it's in the front. So, just some little tips. And then these leaves around the top here are just your general, like, at the base underneath where the rose is, there's always those kind of like smaller crinkly looking leaves. Super simple to do. I didn't design a leaf. I just made marks until it sort of resembled a leaf. So I'll let you watch this for a minute, and then we'll get back to it again. Okay, so, oh my God, okay, learn how to talk. So now we're going to do the background. I opted for kind of a blue, gray, light gray background. Thought it would make the red and the green stand out really well, and I think it looks pretty cool. Again, you'll notice the leaves may look a little different because I lost about 5 minutes of me recording and starting the background. I should have stopped it and gone back and looked before I started the background, because I was like, it was like a different segment, but obviously it didn't. So you missed the very first me laying down a little bit of the background. Oh well, you get to see a lot of it, so it's no big deal. I mixed white and Mars Black, a little tiny bit of not cerulean blue. What blue did I use? Oh my gosh, my brain this morning is crazy. Any blue will work, a primary, oh gosh, I'm going to have to look it up, I swear. It's a dark blue. A dark blue. Somebody tell me what the hell this is. I'm telling you, I'm losing my mind. I should have written it down. I know these things by heart. You'd think it would not be this much of a problem. I had a crazy day yesterday, and I woke up really early this morning and decided to come outside and have some coffee and get this done. And my brain has just not been right since last night. I'm not sure. Well, I kind of know why. It's because I had to deal with, my ex, and as much fun as that always is, it makes me a little crazy. I shouldn't let it affect me, but I do, as we tend to do, because I'm human, and that's what happens. But anyhow, I'm okay today. My daughter's birthday party's on Sunday, so I'm just kind of getting ready for that. It's the first party we've had since COVID, so yeah, super excited. We are going to be outside at a playground having pizza. I got this new place up the street from me called Slices doing pizza and ice cream, and we got a bunch of cake, and we're just going to let the kids play. So I think there's like 50 people coming. It's going to be crazy. It's like I didn't even invite that many people, but it adds up so quickly when you have like the parents and the kids, and then you have family, and I've got a pretty big family out here. So, I've got like sister-in-laws and brothers and my ex's, his family and his friends, and it's like, oh my God. So I got to feed the whole world on Sunday, but that's okay. It's from 10 to 1. I'm smart like that on a Sunday morning. I was like, well, some people might be at church, but if I do it from 10 to 1, then it's done early and I have the rest of the day. So anyways, it'll be good. And then, of course, then it's like Halloween time. Do you see that fly? Do you see him flying around? You should have seen me in there like crazy person trying to kill these flies. I'm not like, I hate to be mean about it, but oh my God, they drive me insane. I don't know how they get in the house. It's like, I've never had this issue before. It's crazy. So as you can see, I'm just haphazardly placing, and I probably could have used a bigger brush to do this and then gone to the smaller brush once I got around the leaves and the flower, yeah. But I didn't, because I kind of liked the streakiness of the way that this brush was holding and laying the color down. And again, it's okay to overlap some of this. You can always go back with your red or your green and adjust things if you need to. But I kind of like it when the brush picks up a little bit of those colors and puts it in the background. I just think it looks really neat and organic. So when I'm doing this, I try to be careful sort of around the edges, but I'm also okay if I pick up a little bit of green, if I pick up a little bit of red. It just makes the background a little bit more interesting. It may be hard to see on camera, but where I picked up the green, there's a little bit of green in the background. Where I picked up some red, there's a little bit of red in the background. And I just think it like overall looks pretty cool. So you guys, if you are interested in purchasing any of my art, I do sell my art on my website. There is an eBay shop on my website that has everything. So you go to www.restart, restartmh.com, restartmh.com, which is Michael Helene MH. And if you go to my shop, I do have some things in my shop online, but if you go to my eBay store, that's where I put everything. The reason I do that is I just get more views. I sell more on there. I do have an Etsy shop as well where I put some things, but my eBay shop has over 100 art pieces on there, and you can look through everything and see. And I've got a range of things. I tend to like more like horror outsider art. I do some of that on YouTube. If there's an art piece that I've done a video of, I will always send the link with it. All of my art pieces are sold with a certificate of authenticity. See, I can't talk this morning. Signed. I send a little artist statement with it so that it stays with the piece if it gets sold. And when I become a famous artist and outdo Jose for the best living artist in the world, you have documentation of who did the artwork. I also DNA sign all my pieces. Yes, I know that's weird, but I saw it somewhere and thought it was cool, so I started doing it. And what that means is there's a tiny, tiny piece of my hair, okay, in the signature. It's very, very hard to see, but when I'm super famous, if people have to look and see if it really is truly a Michael Helene art piece, that's how you'll be able to tell. I also put the name and date and or title and date of each piece, and sign the back of all my artworks as well, just to make sure. Some people, I don't know, most of my artworks I do sign the front, but anyhow, so I'm greatly appreciative for any work sold. It is very, very helpful for me and my baby girls. Okay, so I had to pause it for a minute because an airplane came over, which doesn't happen very often out here. It did when I lived at my old house because we were next to Dulles, but out here we weren't. So anyways, this little petal was driving me crazy. So I don't know why I kept messing with it. It looked beautiful before, but I did get there. I did get there eventually, right? You always get there eventually. It just needed some depth, and it was driving me crazy. And I said, it's the front petal. It's got to be perfect. So eventually it got perfect, and I was very happy with it, but I had to keep messing with it. It was driving me bat poop crazy. The other thing, let's see. So after I got the background done, it's just in my nature to go back and kind of step back and look and see what petals were not working and what was working. And it's funny, when I watch the video, I'm like, oh, it was good before. I didn't even have to do this. But I left it in, just like I said before, because we tend to overwork things. And I definitely do that because I think, oh, wait, it's not perfect. It needs to be more perfect. And I saw things that I didn't see while I was painting it. And so I had to go back and be like, and kind of adjust a little bit here and there. I could have made the video very short and just said, okay, I edited it, tweaked a few things, and left it alone. And then, got there eventually. But I wanted you to see how an artist can drive themselves crazy trying to make everything perfect when the reality is it was beautiful the way that it was. I hated this white thing right in the front. That was driving me crazy. As you can see, I start messing with that, and then it ends up being much better. So I'm just tweaking the flower once I got the background done. And I do fix that white corner. I don't think I did it on camera. I had done that like an hour before, and then my kids got home from school and I had to do all that. So it had dried a little bit, and it was just a little bit lighter than I wanted. So I do go back and darken it up. And then, just highlighted a few more of these petals. Added some depth in. And just kind of played with it until I liked it. I don't know. I'm very, very anal, I guess. I kept having to step back, take a look, step back, take a look. That's why the video is edited the way it is. But it's so peaceful outside. It's such a beautiful day. So now I'm using some white, and I'm placing that in and then blending it out with my magenta, and I think it was Alzerian crimson, magenta, and white. I just really liked that kind of rosy color that it created, and I was able to get some sort of the inside of the petals and the underneath part of the petals with that, and it made it just stand out a little bit more to me. So I had some fun with that. And you can really see here how it starts to bring those. How many times in this video did I say petal? Petal. I'm not entirely sure. Oh, so y'all want to hear a funny story? Let me tell you a funny story. So I'm in the bathroom, or my daughter was in the bathroom the other day, and I went in there because I had gotten her, she's got a pen that she draws with on her iPad, and she's always misplacing it because she's 7 and she won't put things back where they belong. So I got her a new iPad case, and it was supposed to have a pen holder. Well, it didn't have it. So I bought one of those slip things that you just stick onto the back. And I was like, oh my God, I got here, Loman, look. And I go in to give it to her, and my other daughter comes in, she just turned 6 2 days ago. She's the one, we're having a birthday party for her, and on Sunday. And so she comes in and she's like, what's that, Mom, a pregnancy test? And I'm like, what are you talking about? How do you even know what that is? She said online. See, I have a theory, guys. I'm this mom, okay? And some people will agree with me and some people won't. But here I go again with a smaller brush to do the highlights. Okay, but look. It's coming together. It's coming together. See it? See it? See it? You can see it petals better. It looks nicer. I feel like it kind of works better now and everything's coming alive. Anyhow, I let my kids watch TikTok. I let my kids watch YouTube. I have a theory about it. I think that they're going to do it anyways. And if I don't let them, they're going to hide it from me and they're going to lie to me. Because that's what kids do. I am not so stupid to think that if I ban it from my house, that they won't watch it at other people's houses, that they won't hide things from me or avoid it or not talk to me. The best thing about being open with them about it, and I'm not saying it's perfect, I'm just saying that's my theory, is that they come to me and they ask me things and they're not afraid to talk to me about things. And I just think that I find that to work a lot better for us in our family. It may not work for everybody, but I know so many families that, and so many kids, and even in my own family, that they're not allowed to look at things or view things. Now, there's certain things I won't let them do, obviously, but it's out there, especially the way media is nowadays. Everything is out there. So I'm like, if they find something or they see something, then they'll talk to me about it. And they do. I don't know if they always will, but at this age, if they see something or they're questioning something, especially with all this stuff going on in politics and the world of, like, I don't want to offend anybody, but, this whole, like, the race thing. Oh, and I'm going to sign it here. The race thing and the sex thing and all that kind of stuff. I just find that, being open with my kids is going to be, I don't know, the best way to do it. And so it worked. But anyways, I thought that was funny. I was like, a pregnancy test. I said, what does that do? She said, well, it tells you if you're going to have a baby or not. Okay, cool. Awesome. I'm glad that you know that. So, okay, now this is where that drip idea came from. Now, I didn't drip. I didn't want to drip. What I did do is I took a fan brush and I blended all that work that I did on those flowers because I wanted it to look kind of cool and modern and almost like it was moving, like it had that motion effect. So I just fanned some of that wet paint off to the side. And I'll tell you what, it's kind of hard to see in this video, but it is so cool looking. I really liked it. All that work I did on those petals and leaves. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to mess it all up. But it came out really, really good. So I wish that you could see it better in person, but it is very, very cool. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this painting. If you want to check me out, www.restartmh.com. Thank you.